However, if you don't like creating long form video, you don't like editing, you don't like creating thumbnails, you don't like doing that, and you're much more like, okay, short videos to the point, I just want to post and like be done with it, YouTube is probably not a platform that you want to choose right away. Welcome back to 0 to 10K, the 25-part series and how to make $10,000. We are officially in part 3 of the money series, which is all about sales. And we are finally going to get into how to actually like bring the money into us. Now, today is a very like simple, straightforward, short video because we are going to talk about social media platforms and which platform we want to start to build our brand in and start to make money on. Now, depending on if you already have a business, if you already have a personal brand, some of you might already be on social media versus other people, you might just be starting out and you're trying to figure out like, what platform should I be on? Should I be on like all of the platforms? Which one is the best platform? So I'm going to talk about the like main social media platforms that I would recommend being on and which one you should like prioritize versus the other one. Now, the top 4 social media platforms that I'm on and that I recommend you building your personal brand on is, of course, we have YouTube. We're creating YouTube videos. We have Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Now, of course, we have like LinkedIn and we have Twitter, but I never honestly really got onto those platforms that much. I have a profile on them, but I don't really focus on them that much because when it comes to building a personal brand that's known, that's famous, that gets a lot of people, gets a lot of followers and money and clients and buyers and all the things, the top platforms are really honestly like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Now, I'm going to talk about each one a little bit. And as I'm talking about it, I just want you guys to write down and think about like, what platforms do I really enjoy and what platforms do I think would be the best for my personal brand? Now, a few things that you want to think about before you choose the platform you want to be on is, what platform do you actually enjoy being on and where is your audience? Now, when I say audience, this is basically where is like your ideal client and your buyer. Now, typically, every social media platform your ideal client is going to be on. However, you might not like every social media platform that you're creating content on. This is like a big one, right? People might think, people might see, of course, these videos. You guys might be watching these videos. You're like, okay, Sabah is doing a 25-part series on YouTube. That means I should also be on YouTube. However, if you don't like creating long form video, you don't like editing, you don't like creating thumbnails, you don't like doing that, and you're much more like, okay, short videos to the point, I just want to post and like be done with it, YouTube is probably not a platform that you want to choose right away. However, if you're somebody who's like, you like to really be in depth, you like to create, you like to spend time creating long form, then maybe YouTube is like an option, right? So when you're thinking about what platform you want to be on, you also want to keep in mind, where do you like to spend your time? What platform do you like to enjoy? And how do you think that is going to be in correlation with like your style of creation and creating content? Because once again, we don't want to just post once on a social media platform or maybe even for a few weeks. We want to commit to one that's really going to keep us consistent. Now, the first platform I want to talk about, which is probably like my favorite platform, is Instagram. Now, Instagram, of course, is one of those platforms where like celebrities, personal brands, like everybody is on Instagram because it honestly is like one of the hottest platforms on there. Now, Instagram, basically the type of content you're creating on there is like short, potent, to the point, where people can just like take information quickly, apply, but also people can follow along with you in your journey and stay connected with you, right? So the type of content you create on there are, of course, like still images, carousels, right? Where it's basically either like a picture with a caption or of course like text with a carousel. We have reels, right? So this is like short form video. I think the max is like 90 seconds where you can record a video. And of course, reels are the hottest and the best ways to grow an audience on Instagram and just like get more people in. And then of course we have like stories on Instagram. I love stories because this is where you can really show like the day-to-day life of what you're doing throughout the day. And this is also where you can really build a stronger connection and relationship with your audience, right? Because instead of people just consuming your posts and your reels, they can actually tap on your stories and kind of see what you're up to like in that moment. So I recommend Instagram if you're that type of person who's already on Instagram and you just kind of like that vibe of something that's a little bit more intimate. You like to create content that's in like the moment, and you like to share a value that people can just consume and get like wins from right away. Now, the second platform I want to talk about is of course YouTube. Right now, I have been on YouTube for quite like a few years now. However, I recommit to really creating videos for you guys last year. I think it was like June of 2023. Now, one of the reasons why I actually like recommitted to YouTube and why I waited to recommit was because YouTube does take a lot of time and commitment to create really good videos and grow your audience. Now, once again, if your goal is to make money right away, is to build a brand and to kind of like see results quickly, I would not recommend YouTube right away because it is more so like long term. Now, for me, I've had my personal brand for years now and I'm gonna have it for years. So for me, I spent a good few years building up my audience on like Instagram, on Facebook. Now I'm committing to YouTube because I know YouTube is like a long-term platform. Now, once again, that does not mean you cannot commit and start with YouTube. Like, you definitely can, especially if that is your style of creation. You like the long form, you like to spend time in front of the camera, edit, thumbnails, all the things. But if once again, you're like, I don't know if I can even commit that much time right away, I wouldn't recommend YouTube as a platform to get started on. But if you are that type of person who's like, I really want to incorporate, once again, like my life with my business, I want to show more, that's also where you can do like vlogs. It doesn't just have to be talking in front of a camera like what I'm doing here right now. Now, the third platform is TikTok. Now, TikTok is like the newest platform out of like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube because it really took off like 2020 during COVID. Now, TikTok is one of those platforms where it's very like fast content, right? It's like you put out a piece of content and then people are waiting for the next piece of content. It is one of those platforms where I have probably seen creators, personal brands, business owners blow up very fast out of nowhere because like till this day, TikTok, if you post a video on there, it can go viral overnight and you can grow thousands of followers on there, right? So if you're the type of person that really enjoys creating a lot of content, you have no problem creating content like day after day after day, even multiple times a day. That is a platform that you want to be on, right? And if you also want to create content where it's not super curated, but you also are just like literally talking in front of the camera, that is a platform that you want to choose because it is still a very fast growing platform where you can get a lot of people to follow. But number two, it also is one of those platforms where it's basically just video, right? So if you don't want to focus so much time and attention, for an example, like versus Instagram, where we have stories, we have carousels, we have written content, we have reels, like there's a lot of different features you can use. If you just want to focus on one thing, TikTok might be a really good option for you. Now, like one of the cons about TikTok is it is really just like fast content that's kind of like you post a piece of content and then it's like the next, right? So it's not really like long-term content that you would be creating because it's always just like TikTok is driven by people just scrolling. So you always are going to be creating new content every single day, right? So that is just something that you want to keep in mind if TikTok is a platform that you might be focusing on. Now, the last and final platform I want to talk about is Facebook. Now, Facebook is one of those platforms where I've honestly, that was like the first social media platform that I was on, and I'm still on it. But I want to say Facebook is one of those platforms where if you feel like you want like a really like homey vibe where you're really like connected with like an audience, a community, and you're also like connecting with other people's like communities and audience, you can build on there. Now, I want to say if you've already been on social media for a while, you already have an audience on like Facebook, Instagram, I would more so use Facebook as a platform where you're more so sharing like your journey, updates. You might still be like selling on there too, But I have found Facebook isn't necessarily a platform where it's easy, quote unquote, easy to build an audience on, because it doesn't really show like a community on there unless you have like a Facebook group, right? So like today, if you're building a personal brand, Facebook is probably like the last platform that I would recommend, because once again, for you to grow an audience, you have to be posting like reels, but reels just do not get the same type of reach as they do on like Instagram, right? So I would recommend focusing on like Instagram over Facebook. However, once again, if you already have an audience on Facebook, you already have people on there, people do comment, they do engage, that's what I'd recommend, right? But like if you're just starting a personal brand, you're starting a business, I would not recommend Facebook right off the bat. I would recommend getting started on like Instagram, TikTok, or on YouTube. So those are the top 4 platforms I recommend. Now for you, I want you to pick one that you can commit to, you can grow an audience on, and start making money from. Now, of course, what people will do is they'll create a account on all of the platforms and post on all of them, and then they're not consistent on any of them. I don't want you to do that, right? Because the entire point of you building a personal brand, building a business, making money is for it to actually work, right? It's like if you think of like a pie, right? If it's a circle and you're focused on one thing, you have 100% attention on one thing. If you cut it down the middle and you focus on 2 things, it's 50% attention over here, 50% attention over here, right? And then if you cut another line through it, then it's only 25% attention on all 4 of those things, right? And the thing is, you can make $10,000, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million on one platform. Don't think you need to be on all of the platforms to make more money. That does not mean that you can't expand and grow, but if you're just starting out, and honestly, if you're not even making $10,000 right now, I would focus on one platform, right? So once again, ask yourself, what is the platform you enjoy the most, you would enjoy creating content on, you can commit to creating content on, and also where is your audience at? If you can answer all 4 of those questions, that is the perfect platform for you. So what I want you guys to do is choose one social media platform that you're going to commit to be on, and then I also want you to comment below and let us know which social media platform you chose, and then also share the handle with us, so that way everybody can connect and everybody can follow you. So that is all for today, day 19. Now tomorrow we are getting into day 20, which is all about how to actually create content on these social media platforms, right? So I'm gonna go through my content categories, and I'm also gonna share examples of my own content, so you guys can start to create content on your own, start to grow an audience, and of course start to sell your products and your offers. And as always, if you guys need to rewatch any of the videos, here is the playlist to the series, so that way you can either catch up or rewatch any of the ones you missed. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 20, and until then, make sure that you stay unforgettable.